Now let's go in depth on our coverage of State Superintendent Ryan Walters. He will not face any criminal charges for what has been dubbed by some on social media as Nudygate. At the end of July, the State Board of Education members, some of them said they saw fully nude women on Walters' TV in his office during a closed-door executive session. The Oklahoma County District Attorney's Office released a statement saying no criminal charges are coming, and the Oklahoma County Sheriff Tommy Johnson said, however, there were in fact naked women on that TV. The most recent and what some hope is the final chapter of what is known as Nudygate was written Wednesday. In a brief statement, Oklahoma County District Attorney Vicky Bahena said there is, quote, insufficient evidence to file criminal charges against State Superintendent Ryan Walters for having fully nude women on his office television.
It's just an accident. But with that being said, they did see, you know, what they came out and talked about. They did see those images.
At a news conference, Oklahoma County Sheriff Tommy Johnson said there was in fact nudity on Walters' office TV, but it was not intentional, nor was it pornographic.
You remind me of someone I knew in Saigon.
It is confirmed by working with the TV streaming service Samsung TV Plus, Johnson says. The 1985 movie, The Protector, starring Jackie Chan, is what was playing during the meeting in question in late July. A meeting in which board member Becky Carson yelled out, quote, I see naked women, and board member Ryan Dethridge says he saw fully nude women around a chiropractic table. The movie itself, however, has multiple scenes of full frontal nudity.
And she stated there were inappropriate images showing full frontal nudity that she observed and that it offended her. On July 30th, we interviewed Ryan Dethridge about what he observed. He also observed full frontal nudity. Both of them said it looked like the image was from the 70s.
Johnson says Walters' office TV, when turned on automatically, defaults to an R-rated movie channel. And his investigators were able to get in touch with Samsung, who made the TV, and found the movie was playing, with its multiple nude scenes uncensored. At the same time, board members were in Walters' office for executive session. Walters believed when he turned on his TV, Johnson says, it defaults to the Fox News channel when it does not.
Personally, what I feel, no malicious intent involved, just an accident.
While he is cleared now, Johnson says Walters did lie and disrespected his agency by claiming in front of the entire state that deputies cleared him in early August, just days after the investigation was getting underway.
We have had our name cleared by both OMES and the Sheriff's Office. There is nothing scandalous that I was a part of whatsoever.
It's certainly frustrating. Because, you know, one, like I said, we had just started our investigation, and how dare anybody try to ruin the credibility of this agency and the professionalism that we bring to this office and to this community every day to suggest that we would run a 24-hour investigation and clearing one. That is not the case. So, yes, you're right. He did come out prematurely and said that we cleared him.
Even now, with it being proven that naked women were in fact on his TV, the superintendent struggles to acknowledge that yes, in fact, there was nudity on his screen, even though it wasn't his fault. Because that is his shtick. That's how he got elected. He's supposed to be the no porn in schools guy, and it accidentally happened to him. He can't even publicly state that because it goes against everything he's been trying to do for more than 3 years. Here is his most recent statement responding to everything. Quote, this concludes the biggest witch hunt in Oklahoma history. Lies were spread about me and my character. Not only did the liberal lying media and my accusers sacrifice the truth, they worked to create a narrative to tear down my agenda and mission to reform Oklahoma schools and put parents back in charge. Liberal lies lost again. For some reason, whether it is today or last month, Walters cannot acknowledge the truth about what took place. He also continues to use language that compares himself to Donald Trump. If you ask any teacher in Oklahoma why he's acting like this, they'll tell you it's because he's shown no mercy in situations toward teachers caught up in situations just like this, even ones that have had accidents of their own. Now it has happened to him. The sheriff even told us that when questioned, Walters insisted that he just had on Fox News, despite there being solid proof that the TV turns onto a movie channel and was left on it. Before we play this next clip, keep in mind, the sheriff also says they found no evidence Governor Kevin Stitt had a hand in any of this.
These board members have a lot to answer for, and so does the governor of the state of Oklahoma. Did he direct these board members to lie about me?
This entire ordeal has caused the very necessary work at the State Department of Education and the State Board of Education to come to a halt.
As far as we know, the first ever special Board of Education meeting.
Earlier this month, a majority of the State Board of Education used an old state law to call for a special meeting to confirm their new attorney to help guide them on board decisions. The meeting was canceled after Walters openly bashed board members and smeared their reputations in state and national media for reporting what they saw on his office TV.
Sadly, it's been consistent since I've been on the board. We have zero communication with the Department of Education, except to determine if we're going to attend the next board meeting.
And the superintendent did not attend the special board meeting, and no other agenda items were discussed. One major item board members say is concerning them is because Walters canceled that August board meeting is now that teachers with emergency teaching certificates are being paid as if they are substitute teachers instead of receiving full pay. By the way, all of those board members are Republicans. There are no Democrats on the State Board of Education. As we have mentioned on this program before, the superintendent has made a lot of big promises this summer, and some of them aren't panning out on their own. Others he needs to work with the board on, but he says he doesn't want to work with them on these. Take a look at your screen. Walters proposed free school lunch. It did not receive state board and legislative approval. Even though he announced it as a done deal, many families are finding they still have to pay for lunch this school year already underway. Walters promised the creation of the state's first non-woke online charter school, the American Virtual Academy. The Oklahoma Tax Commission did not approve the school for vouchers because it did not have state board approval, and the school's offices are actually a P.O. box at an Oklahoma City shipping store. The superintendent announced Oklahoma was changing into the year standardized testing. He did not have state board or legislative approval, and when she was in Oklahoma, Linda McMahon said to reporters, including me, Walters' plan was in violation of federal law and he wasn't going about it properly. McMahon also refused to make arrangements to meet with Walters when she was in the state. Walters claims he was out of town when she was here. Finally, Walters has promised to make mandatory wokeness tests created by PragerU as a mechanism to screen out woke teachers from New York and California. Using these tests to screen teachers does not have state board and legislative approval. And now we see, once you take it, the test is really impossible to fail. Finally, the next scheduled Board of Education meeting is scheduled for Thursday, September 25th. No one, not Walters or any members of the board, are planning on resigning or leaving their post because of Nudygate. But whatever the feelings are, you as the taxpayer funding a very expensive and important agency should be concerned that the superintendent has not been willing to work with the board to get the business of educating Oklahoma's children done since all of this started for more than a month. Because of personal hard feelings, not just with Nudygate, but also because he remains upset Governor Kevin Stitt tore his preferred board apart. I've had on this very program 2 state Senate Republican leaders saying Walters doesn't have a choice. He needs to work with this board, and we can only hope things get back on track later this month.
This is a board that was appointed by Governor Stitt, confirmed by the state Senate, and he doesn't have a choice. He has to work with that board. I mean, that was put in place the proper way.
You do have to work with the Board of Education. You do have to work with the legislature. We don't want to be an obstacle or an impediment, but we do have to be respectful of the fact that it's the legislature that makes the laws, right? And then the State Department, through rulemaking and their administrative authority, get to work to implement the laws that we have on the books. And it's not, I just get to wave a magic wand and say, I want to do this.